Welcome to task 11.2. It's the retrospective project demo for Team Cloudies. During Sprint 4, we went further to have the Sprint 4 backlog, but then we also started looking at our technical work, our ready for testing, our bugs, and making sure that we were keeping up with what we needed to do to head into the project handover. During the sprint, communication was done on the Trello board, but also within the Teams chat application. We found that this was a very good way for the whole team to communicate at any hour of the day and to get some quick answers back in between sprints if we needed something to complete a task.
Some of the main issues we faced during our sprint was communication, time management, and work distribution. At first, we would chat in teams and distribute work through text, which didn't end well in our first week. We felt disconnected and barely any progress was achieved. We found out that the best way to tackle these issues and move forward as a team was to meet up twice a week and talk about what has been done, what we're working on, and challenges to come. This method helped us to push each other to always be on track and motivated. Any challenges faced by any individual would be brought up and solved as a team.
Android Studio will be our primary technology stack, with Java being our programming language of choice. It will be paired with an SQLite database, and we will also utilize InVision for front-end development and then proceed to implement it as an XML file in our IDE. As for the backend phase of our development process, it includes implementing the necessary functions with a Java file in our IDE. App Inventor will be our secondary technology stack, with our programming language of choice being block language. It will be accompanied with a web interface built in server-side language, where the web client component in App Inventor will connect to it, and as a whole, it'll function as our database. Similar to our first technology stack, this one will also use InVision for front-end development, and components may always be added to the application along the way. Moreover, the assembly of code blocks in a programming view will be part of the back-end development process to define the behaviors of each component. Now I'll be discussing both of the plans we have on hand. Among the risks involved in Plan A include application threats, Android fragmentation risks, as well as app permissions. Whereas for Plan B, malware has been built on it before, and with this, even a novice malware author can create a Trojanized app. We chose Technology Stack A for various reasons, such as its dynamic nature, the main user interface when coding the app, flexibility and scalability, as it can integrate with many Android ecosystems including smartphones and tablets, as well as Plan A is also compatible with emerging technologies such as IoT, AR, and VR. A combination of both technology stacks would not be advisable because of factors such as the size of the application, as this web application in particular is a small project. The budget allocated is also a factor in this, because a good rule of thumb is that the more advanced and sophisticated the technologies used, the higher the cost of the development. As well as a clash in technologies, because both of these technology stacks we have on hand use a different programming language.
Hello everyone, in this part of our presentation we'll be talking about how we went about finding our appropriate design for our application to suit our users' needs. To make our design easier to understand and construct, we drew up an entity relationship diagram. Here we can see how our application is structured. Our main goal was simplicity and user-friendly navigation of our app. When you first start our application, you'll be greeted by a homepage where you can choose one of two options, student or organizer. This is a feature requested by our users. First, we'll start off with the student path, which will lead them to a registration or sign-in page. Here the students have three options: sign in if you're as a member, register, or continue without registration. Again, this is a feature requested by our users. And below you can see what each path leads to. From there you are met with the names of Hobbin interviewers, their credentials, and date and time slots available. This calendar shows the interview week schedule and what times are available for booking. Then to the last page, which confirms your booking and allows you to book another appointment or reschedule a current one. Now from the main page, if you are a Hobbin employee, you'll be directed to a sign-in page, which is a feature requested by the Hobbin staff to differentiate between them and the students. And from there you are greeted with 5 options: My interviews today, My calendar, Inbox, Zoom, and previous interviews. Starting off with My interviews today, here the Hobbin user can see his day schedule with the interview times, name of student, and job positions they are trying for, along with their resume. Next up is the calendar, pretty straightforward, date and time broken into 30-minute blocks, and an indication of what times are available or booked. And here we have the work email box for easy access, followed up by a direct link to Zoom, and finally access to previous interviews. Here the Hobbin staff can rewatch interviews and give feedback to the students who requested it, which is another main feature requested by our users.
Hello, this is Jiatao. This is a quick video to demonstrate the programming language and the technology we will be using. Because Project C is required to develop an interviewing book application, so we decide to use Angel Studio and use Java to develop this application. And here you can see is a code we have already written. And here is a function and features we have already implemented. And this is our first screen. And if you are a student, and click this button, and here you can here you need to input your information. And here is if you are organizer to log in. And for me, I am a student, so if I input my information, login, and here you need to confirm your information here, and here to select the time. Here you will, and will show a slot to choose time. That's all.
In the next 3 slides, we'll talk about security issues and how we plan to secure the system. As we know, application security is one of the primary concerns, as data can be a danger if proper security controls are not applied when designing the application. Some of the security issues include using third-party libraries, weak security systems, bad code injection, and this can be prevented by using legitimate libraries and also using high-level authentication systems and strong password policies. And also the use of developed temper techniques is very important to avoid bad code injection. This slide shows the Android security model and also shows different types of attack vectors and types of mobile malware.
Data storage plans and schemas. Data storage plans. We thought that SQLite should be implemented with Android Studio. This meant that it's already embedded within the app, and it means that it will be an easy implementation. All data is going to be added via the edit text view in the XML code. It means when the student or the Hoban interviewer adds this information, it will be incorporated within the SQLite database automatically. Plus also the SQLite database will have an implemented security layer to it, therefore a trustful solution. The database design that we came up with was one using 3 tables. So a table for student, a table for Hoban staff, and a joint table for the appointment. So for example, the student would have data such as their ID, which is their primary key, and then also use the name, position, and the email that the Zoom invite would go through. Alternatively, the Hoban staff would again have the Hoban ID, but then also have the name, the password, and the email too. The appointment has a unique username, a unique key, which is the student username and the Hoban username, using day, month, year, time, and whether or not they attended.